Testosterone makes you gay. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sam, and I'm female to male, transgender, 4 years on testosterone, 3 years post-op top surgery. Sorry about the weird lighting right now. My ring lights are in the mail. They're coming to me, and it was a very nice day out, and now it's gloomy, so sorry. Today we're gonna be talking about myths about testosterone and breaking those down and telling you guys if it's a myth or if it's not. A lot of this is based on actual science and knowing what is what, and a lot of it's also based on like my own experience. Let's dive right in, shall we? First one is my breasts will go away with testosterone. They'll just shrink and bye-bye. Kind of the opposite of what happens when you're on estrogen, because when you're on estrogen, for the male to female individuals, breast tissue does grow, but your breasts don't like go away on testosterone. You have to get a top surgery. There's a bunch of different kinds that you can get, but your breasts just don't. Peace out, deuces. They just don't do that. Unfortunately, how great would that be though? Testosterone makes you gay. This myth is everywhere. It's in the comments of my videos. It's everywhere I look and talk to people about things. Testosterone doesn't change your sexuality. I think this stems from some trans men and some trans people, their sexuality changing after they started on hormones. I think a big thing of it is you're becoming more yourself, which opens up different areas of yourself and your realization. Also, people evolve. Sexuality, genders evolve. That's why people come to different conclusions later in their life or whatever. It's all on a different timeline. Say this person hadn't transitioned, chances are they would have turned out gay eventually with time. It's just a hormone. It doesn't make you gay. Does that make sense? Because I need everyone to understand that. Testosterone doesn't make you gay. Estrogen doesn't make you straight. That doesn't make any sense. Testosterone will make me grow taller and my hands grow bigger. I don't know why these are like put together, but they oftentimes are. It's just simply not true. I had that hope, obviously, most trans dudes do, because we're typically shorter, which is fine. I've learned to come to accept it and find it's not like a negative thing. Testosterone does not make you taller. It just doesn't. I would measure myself all the time from when first starting on testosterone, and you know, when you measure yourself on the wall and make little lines, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm growing, because I grew like a quarter of an inch or something. It just doesn't happen unless you're like doing it very early on. Maybe it'll happen then, but a lot of us trans men start testosterone like post-puberty, after like the bulk of it. Unfortunately, your hands and your height, they don't grow. However, your feet, my feet have grown. I don't know if that's necessarily due to testosterone, but after I started testosterone, my feet went from like in the female size, 8.5, 9 to 9.5. Sometimes 10, and I was like,
what the heck, I can fit into these shoes?
So another huge one that I see all the time is testosterone makes people angry and aggressive.
That is not the case.
Can I be more clear on that? And I experienced this myself. I've talked a little bit about this in my previous videos. I had like a 2-week spurt where I felt more angry and aggressive, and I was like, oh my gosh, I kind of understand this. But it wasn't like out of control rage all the time, and it went away. I think it was just me adjusting to a new hormone in my body, and I was kind of already in a very angry place in my life anyways. Testosterone itself doesn't just make you a crazy, angry, aggressive person. You have to have that already within you, whether you know it's in there or not. It's just not what testosterone does. And the people that I've seen that get really angry, I've known them to be kind of snarky and angry and have this like hidden layer of aggression. Also, testosterone doesn't make you just out of control, and that's the biggest thing I think that's connected with the anger, because when I felt angry in those 2 weeks, I still had my self-control. I knew how to treat people. I knew, okay, because I'm angry doesn't mean I get to take it out on everyone and be an asshole. It boils down to those people, generally speaking, just not being able to control themselves in general and not have those skills to realize I'm angry, this is a me thing, I need to figure this out and not perpetrate everyone around me. A lot of us just get happier because we're more ourselves. It makes us feel calmer and more just at peace with life and the people we are around. But really, if it's making you feel out of control and angry, you should probably go see a therapist. And I don't mean that in a demeaning way. I think everyone should go see a therapist. You want to work through that anyway, and no one wants to feel angry and no one wants to be perpetrated. So it's in the betterment of everyone. I see a therapist all the time. There's no judgment. More changes will happen if I inject more testosterone and more frequently. No. That will not be the case. What happens on testosterone, if you inject too much, it just turns into estrogen, which is the exact opposite of what trans men want. Keeping it at a healthy level, work with your endocrinologist. That's who's in charge of your hormones. Their purpose is to keep it at high enough to where you see changes that's still healthy and it doesn't put you at super high risk, even more so for like strokes and heart attacks, because high testosterone in anyone is not good. And in the end, we don't want more estrogen, which always makes me laugh. A big thing for parents is, oh my God, like I don't want my kid to overdose on testosterone. It's like, oh my God. That is the last thing you need to worry about, because the last thing trans men will do is inject a crazy amount of testosterone, because it just turns into estrogen, and that's exactly what we don't want. Next one is, I cannot get pregnant while on testosterone. While that is mostly true, there is still a small chance that it can happen, and it has happened. We've seen it happen in the news, especially in the early stages. Now, I don't know all the scientific stuff about this, but I do know it is possible to get pregnant on testosterone. There's still a slight chance, especially in the beginning stages of taking testosterone. While the bleeding of your menstrual cycle may have stopped, it doesn't necessarily mean that you aren't like menstruating. Use protection, be smart about it. Obviously, if you had a hysterectomy, that is not possible. I don't know what else to say about that, except for you definitely can still get pregnant, so be careful. Being on testosterone will stop me from getting STDs. And no, that's just incorrect. If you know anything about STDs, that's not the only way you can get them. When you're on testosterone, if you don't wear condoms, it's still very possible. Also, you can get STDs other ways. Orally, there's different ways to get STDs. So that is definitely not true. That is a myth, hardcore. Another one is, I will only gain muscle on testosterone, I won't gain fat. Wrong! Healthy eating, exercise, healthy lifestyle, that's what's gonna keep you healthy and not gaining fat. While yes, your metabolism does speed up generally on testosterone, you are more susceptible to like gaining muscle. You can't just sit there and gain muscle. That's not how it works. You have to go and work out and be proactive about it and eat well and eat the right things to support building muscle while doing the workouts. That's how you're gonna gain muscle. And yes, generally you can like gain muscle much easier than a female body. But again, you can't just sit there and wait for that to happen. Like it's not gonna happen. And if you sit there, doesn't matter how quick your metabolism is, you have a surplus of calories and you're not moving, generally you're gonna probably gain some fat, unless you have like a crazy metabolism and you're lucky in life. Most of the world is not that way. So don't just depend on testosterone for gaining muscle and becoming some sculpted man. That's not what's gonna happen. You gotta put in the work just like everyone else, okay? Testosterone will all happen very quickly, and all the changes happen within about a year. As much as I want this to be true, it's just not. A lot of my changes that I'll probably make a video on in the future, they happened years after I started testosterone. Like I said, I'm 4 years on testosterone, I'm almost 5 years. The last 2 years, I've seen maybe more of the changes that I've wanted in those last 2 years than I did the first 2.5, 3. It is a huge waiting game, although a big chunk of like seeing the beginnings of a lot of the changes do happen in the first year. It doesn't necessarily mean you see nothing after like 1 year or 2 years. My voice didn't settle to where it is now until like 2.5 years, maybe 3, especially with singing. Like it was still really like all over the place, kind of trying to find its normal rhythm and its normal placement without huge cracks and stuff like that. After like 2.5 years, my facial hair, I did a whole timeline on that if you guys want to check that out. My chest hair, I guess naked real quick, like this didn't come in until last year, and I was like, where did this come from? Testosterone takes time. In the grand scheme of life, it is very quick, yes. In the scheme of your transition, it will take probably a good chunk of time, like 0 to 5 years to see like most of the changes that you'll probably see. And that's not to say that you won't see any changes after that. And that's from talking to people, my own experience, and kind of science. And the last one is, if I stop T, the only irreversible thing is my voice. That's not true. I'll probably make a whole video on this in the future, but just some of the things that do still stay the same after you stop taking testosterone is your trigger warning for those that can't deal with this word. Your clitoris, that size and the thickness and everything will stay the same. Your voice will stay the same. Your facial hair and your body hair stays the same. You can shave it and it'll stop growing in thicker and more, but it will continue to grow. So it's just important to remember, especially before starting testosterone, just a little warning. You really want to make sure that this is the right thing for you, and it's okay if it's not. It's not for everyone, and if it is, that's awesome, but just be intelligent about this and really do your research before, know the reversible and irreversible things. But your voice is not the only thing that is irreversible, so just know that and then make the best decision for you. Anyway, those are the top myths that I have heard about testosterone. They're everywhere, and I just wanted to clear them up. I hope you guys like this video. I will be back next Saturday at 12 p.m. with another video. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your support, and I will talk to you later. Adios. Bye.